Okay, we are ready for the beginning of round 5. This is the round where we're going to be working granny stitches, hence the granny square. There is a note for this round. We're going to count the hidden stitch right after each corner when we skip 3 stitches, and I'll show you how to do that. So the first thing we do, I try to choose a corner that isn't in the same place where I ended, just to keep my ends from all gathering in the same corner. So I'm going to choose this one here. And I just tie my yarn into the corner. Now, an alternate is you can make a slip knot. And do it that way. But I'm not going to do that for this one because I want to make sure that I can work a stacked single crochet. So what I do is I pull my yarn through, make a half slip knot, square knot, just pull that in any corner. All right, first thing I have to do is chain 1 because I have to pull my yarn up. So I chain 1, and I'm going to work my stacked single crochet in that corner. Again, you may use chain 2 or 3, whichever you like, because we're going to be working a granny stitch, so it doesn't matter. So I do the first stacked single crochet and pull that over because we need some space, and work 2 more double crochet after that to complete the first granny stitch. Now in this corner, we're working a granny stitch, which is 3 double crochet, chain 3, which will become the corner, and another granny stitch in that very same space. So 3 double crochet. All right, so now to get our granny stitches placed in the right spot along this side, I have to skip stitches. And I mentioned the hidden stitch. Right now, my granny stitch is sitting over the top of that stitch right there. So I'm going to pull it, and I want to work into that stitch right there. So I'm going to skip that, skip 2 more, and work a granny stitch in the next stitch. From here on out, we're going to skip 2 stitches, so 1, 2, and work a granny stitch in the next stitch. All right. So I have that one done. I'm going to skip 2 more, 1, 2, and work a granny stitch in the next stitch. Okay. And skip 2 more stitches, work a granny stitch. All right, now before the corner, it will look like you have 3 stitches. This is skipped, but this is actually part of the chain 3 corner. It's not part of the puff. So you're going to skip that and work into this chain space for your next corner, which is granny stitch. And chain 3. And in the same corner, we work another granny stitch. Now, one thing I wanted to point out is the traditional granny square usually has chain 1 spaces between the granny stitches. I've elected not to do that here because of what I'm working into them in round 6, but also because you'll notice that they're still sort of bunching up a little bit. Like I said, once we create that square in round 5, or round 4, sorry, we're still trying to pull that square out to a square shape. And this one is where we really start to pull that out. If I added a chain 1 space, it would be bunched. So we don't want that to happen. So make sure that you don't put a chain 1 space. Remember, skip 3 right after the corner, and then skip 2 to get to the next corner. Now I'm going to finish my round 5, and I will meet you back at the beginning. All right, I'm back at the end of round 5, and I need to slip stitch. So I'm going to slip stitch to join in the top of that stacked single crochet, or if you did a chain 3 or chain 2, get slip stitch into the top of that turning chain. All right, so for round 6, we're going to be working double crochet 3s together in the tops of all of our granny stitches. This stitch pattern, the combination of the granny stitches plus what we're about to work, creates what's called the modern granny stitch, which is one of my all-time favorites. It creates such a fluid fabric. I actually have a baby blanket designed with the modern granny stitch called the Florin. So if you end up liking this stitch, it's a great pattern to check out. Anyway, we need to get started by, we're going to do a partial double crochet 3 together by actually doing what we did when we did the clusters. So we're going to start round 6 with a chain 2. Then we have 2 stitches left in our granny stitch. We're going to yarn over, insert hook in that next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull through 2 loops. And instead of finishing that, we're going to yarn over, insert the hook in the next stitch, which is the 3rd stitch of the granny stitch, pull up a loop, go through 2, and then we have 3 loops here on our hook. Pull through all 3, and that first one is finished. After every double crochet 3 together, this counts as the first one, always chain 2, except in the corner, which we're about to do. In the corner, we're simply going to do the same thing, but into the corner. So yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull up a insert hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2. This time I have 4, and that's what I'm going to have on every other double crochet 3 together throughout. The first one was different. These will all have 4 loops to pull through. Last step is to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops on the hook. That's a double crochet 3 together. Chain 3, because that's what we have in our corner. To complete the corner, I have to do another double crochet 3 together. So yarn over, insert hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2. I have 4 loops on my hook, pull through 4. Okay, to do the next double crochet 3 together, I still have to chain 2 to create that space. And I'm working this over the top of the granny stitch below. So I insert my hook, yarn over, insert hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2. And to complete it, insert in the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2, 4 loops on the hook, pull through all 4. And there's where you see the inverted granny stitch appear. We always chain 2 after that double crochet 3 along the side, and we're just going to do that along the entire side. So I'll get us to the next corner. Here's the next one. And always make sure that we chain 2 after that to create the space. Sorry. Next one. And pull through all 4 and chain 2. We've got 3 more to go for this side. And chain 2. All right, we are getting close to the end of this side, so 1 more to do, chain 2. And this is the last one on the side before the corner. You can see that once you get your rhythm, it goes pretty quickly. Just be sure, let me show you, that you want to make sure you have a chain 2 space between each double crochet 3 together. Now I'm at the corner again, so I'm going to do the same thing I did here. Double crochet 3 together, chain 3, double crochet 3 together to form the corner. And you can see that now my square is really starting to even out. What I'm going to do is work around the other edges, and I'll meet you back here at the end of round 6. All right, so we've arrived at the end of round 6. I just need to chain 2 to complete that last chain 2 space, and then look where I slip stitch. So this is the initial chain 2 that we did to get us started, but I want to slip stitch into the top of that cluster right there. All right, so I'm going to slip stitch in the top of that to complete round 6. Moving on to round 7, we're going to work half double crochets around this round. To get us started, chain 1, half double crochet in that same stitch. 2 half double crochets in the chain 2 space from the round before. And a half double crochet in the top of that double crochet 3 together. It actually happens to be this stitch right here, not this one, because remember, that's that first chain of the chain 3 corner. So we put that last half double crochet right there. Now we're at a corner, so in this corner we're going to work 2 half double crochets, chain 2 this time, and 2 more half double crochets in that corner. That smaller corner will give us a much cleaner corner once we get to the next round where we're going to be working into the 3rd loop. All right, to continue along this side, again, we're going to work a half double crochet in the top of the double crochet 3 together. So it's this stitch here, 2 half double crochet in the chain 2 space, half double crochet in the top of that double crochet 3 together, and 2 half double crochets in the chain 2 space. Now we're going to just continue to do that across like we did before. 1 in the top, 2 in the space. When we get to the very end of this row, remember, this is the top of the double crochet through together, and then we're going to do another corner. So I'm going to work around the square and meet you back at the end of round 7. All right, I've arrived at the end of round 7, and this time we're going to do an invisible join for our slip stitch rather than a regular join. This is different from the one that I did in round 4 because what we're trying to do is get a nice clean join for the round that's coming up, round 8. So I'm back at the beginning. Oh, before you start that, just make sure that you've counted. You should have 26 half double crochet along each side, and that counts the 2 that you have in that corner and the 2 that you have in that corner. So there should be 26. The reason that's important is because not for round 8, but for round 9, when you're doing another round of granny stitches, it kind of becomes important as to how many stitches you're going to skip and that sort of thing. So make sure that you count the number of stitches that you have along each side before you do your join. All right, so for the invisible join, I'm going to remove my hook from the stitch, and I'm going to go from back to front under the top loops of the half double crochet that I'm joining to, which is right here. So I place it under that top loop. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to get in there. I'm going to take the loop that I took off my hook and put it back on my hook like so, and pull it through to the back of my work. Now my loop is too big, and sometimes it's twisted. You can see that it's twisted a little bit, so I'm going to take my hook out and fix that, and then adjust the height of my loop. And what that should do is it creates an invisible join right there so that we don't see where that join happened. All right, we're ready for round 8. In round 8, we're going to be working a half double crochet in the 3rd loop, which sits on the back side of the work. The first one gets a little tricky because we've joined into it, so let me show you how to do that. We have to chain 1 first. And we're going to find that loop. Here's the top loop. It's right underneath, but it's a little bit shorter because of the join. But you insert your hook through that, yarn over, pull up a loop, and finish your half double crochet. Okay, the next stitch, half double crochet in the 3rd loop, which is this one right here. And you can see that my loops on the front are starting to pull toward the front. Next stitch is here. This is going to be behind, so insert hook in that 3rd loop and pull it up and finish the half double crochet. And that's what we do all the way around. Now I'll take you to the corner. So we're going to half double crochet in that 3rd loop all the way to the corner space, which is close by. All right, so we don't have anything to work into this. The chains don't work very well for this. So what we're going to do in this corner space is exactly what we did for round 7. That is 2 half double crochets, chain 2 again, and another 2 half double crochets in that corner. Now, in this round, you're going to find that working the first half double crochet in the 3rd loop after the corner gets a little tricky. Here, these half double crochets are actually covering the stitch that you want to work into. We're going to pull them to the right out of the way, and it exposes that stitch. It looks like it's part of the chain, but trust me, the way the stitch is made, the top loop actually sits to the right of the stitch. I'm going to turn that to the back and it's a little hard to see. This is the top loop, this is the top loop. This right here is the third loop. So I'm going to work into that and complete the stitch. Do the next one in the next stitch. And I'm going to do that all the way across and see what happens after the corner. It actually opens up that hidden stitch. We need that stitch for the next round. So you're going to work that half double crochet in the third loop all the way across to the next corner here, where you work the same 2 half double crochet, chain 2, 2 half double crochet, and then work that all the way around till we get to the end of round 8, which is here. All right, I'm going to finish that up and meet you back at the beginning. All right, I'm at the end of round 8. So I'm going to make sure that I slip stitch to join. This is just a regular slip stitch join into the top of the first stitch of the round.